There is one thing stronger than all the armies in the world put together, and that is an idea whose time has come. Idea perhaps is the most powerful and most dangerous of all the weapons. Hello and a very warm welcome viewers. You're watching the special presentation of Sansad TV on the journey of startups. India has the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. And if you're an aspiring entrepreneur or even otherwise, this is your destination. As we script the novel success stories of unicorns, mid and small level startups, analyze the roadblocks and give wings to your dreams of becoming a job giver and not being a job seeker. So today, let's hear the story of drone startup, SAGAR Degence Engineering and its founder, Captain Nikunj Parashar. Founded in 2015, SAGAR Degence Engineering offers unmanned maritime surface vehicles which facilitate real-time data collection in extreme conditions and environment. The main aim of the startup is to provide systems and applications that can serve a variety of technology and innovative solutions to the unmanned marine or submarine or airborne industries with regard to the commercial sectors like oil and gas, as well as disaster management, scientific research, and defense. It employs optical sensors, an automated identification system, and acoustic sensors. It can be customized according to requirements. Its features include cloud connectivity and storage, and inbuilt collision avoidance system. As a team, SAGAR Degence Engineering has a firm belief that unmanned system technology will not only save time and money, but will also save human lives in future. Captain Parashar, welcome to Sansad TV. You've flown from Mumbai to join us in our studios. Welcome and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kriti, and it's very exciting to be here.
Fantastic and pleasure having you too.
Same here.
So, SAGAR Degence Engineering, the first startup to build Make in India drone to fly passengers. How did the journey begin? Because I know you've been captain with the Merchant Navy. How did you think of that idea? Why did you quit your job? Tell me the entire story.
I think the biggest motivation about starting SAGAR Degence Engineering was 2611, when we had Mr. Kasab all across onto our shows. And if you see, we're filled with Coast Guards and Indian Navy all across on our high seas. But still Kasab could come in. Being a sailor on the high seas and operator and crossing all the 7 continents and oceans all across, I understand what happens out there. And that gave a motivation, something to do with autonomous shipping. In some way, if I could bring back our sailors also back home, at the same time, if I could my soldiers away from harm's way. And that was a thought process behind it. So the best approach as an operator, I thought, was autonomous shipping. If you could do unmanned boats to start off with. And that was real motivation. And this is where I got a very strong support of my wife, I would say, who really came along with me into this journey and helped me to develop the whole technology in. And then, since then, we have not looked after.
So, you quit your job to start this particular venture. How did you find the market? What kind of model did you think of?
So in India, 12th standard HSC, higher secondary school, I'm a fail, physics, chemistry, maths. So imagine for me to come and look at the market is going to be very tough. And generally the people who go out at sea are the black sheep of the families. Trust me, I know with the slang goes along with the seafarer, it always happens.
But Captain Parashar, I'm sure many of those seafarers wouldn't be happy with that statement of yours.
They would love, because what they see me doing now today, a lot of senior seafarers who are at managing director level, they call me as an inspiration. Because though I'm from that fraternity and we go on to become the executive officers or the captain of the ship and sail 14 years out at sea, I decided to go in a very technical line which is away from the main curriculum of the community of our shipping community. So it's a thought process. It's not we seafarers call ourselves as the black sheep of the family. That's what the community around us calls it. But the life out sea is not easy. Very tough. Imagine staying 4,000 nautical miles into the ocean, and if there is a problem, nobody's going to come to rescue you. So we have a very strong strength, beg, buy, borrow, steal, but make sure the work gets done. So when I quit my job and started running off, getting into my startup, trust me, I'll be very honest, there was no business plan, there was no business canvas. I didn't know what the market was, but I had a very strong conviction that if what I'm trying to develop, the technology of autonomy, if that goes in, I think 10 years down the line, there would be a business case. So the thought process came in 2011. 2013 is when I quit my job, and 2015 is when I really founded the company. So it's a journey of 5 years, even into thinking, quitting, and seeing where I could move on. So it's taken a lot of time and space, a lot of investments physically, mentally, monetarily also into it. But it took me 5 years to even realize that when Sagar Defence has to come in. And it's not a single journey of mine, it's been along with my co-founders who really joined me in 2015.
So how did market validation come through for you? Because defense is a very, very difficult line to permeate.
Absolutely. The first statement is you should have, it's a long gestation period, you should have deep pockets. A file which starts at the base, goes all the way to the ministry, takes 2.5 years if it's at a really capital intensive. And yes, I'm one of those who have really successfully got into the defense sector. I think the change, and trust me, it's not political PR, but it's the way government has been, there has been a drastic change in the government thought process. That top approach of thought process has also gone down into the armed forces. So there has been an ocean of change all across. So when I went to the armed forces, it was very difficult at times to explain, hey, look, I have something called a technology, which is a boat in a box, which is platform agnostic. You fit it on a boat, you fit it on a drone, you fit it on a truck, it turns it unmanned. So they would say it's too good to be true. Secondly, the question would come across to me, is it mil standard, mil spec? I didn't know any of that. So when you do build anything for military, it has to be as per military standards.
Okay.
Now, somebody from shipping coming in and you're walking into them, and when they talk about mil standard, it becomes very difficult. So my question was, let's keep the military standard on the side. What I've developed, try it out. Because military standards will only come when you will have a product like this abroad. So technology like this, in certain extent, with certain basic qualities or requirements were coming here into India from different other organizations, but not to the capability what we were trying to bring in. So we did a bottom approach where we said, this is a technology. We are going to do certain demonstrations for you. When you understand it, let us know your guidelines. And then we'll build to spec as per your requirement. I think people bought that. People agreed. They were very courageous, I would say, naval officers, admirals and a few commodores there who took that risk and leap of faith with me. And from 2015 to 2017, we went for close to 26, 27 different kind of sea trials. And that led to the overall technology development also in that phase, because they're investing millions of dollars to put that ship out at sea for your trials. That helped. And that's what has brought us here today. So our general buyers, and that's where it started off, was at command level. So it was the Indian Navy. Then it went with the Indian Army. And luckily, we were able to export out also. So we were exporting to certain organizations in Netherlands. And while we were doing this, we realized the market was taking a lot of time. And, as a sailor, being the routine, we try to see what's the best opportunity also for us to go in. With 6,700 kilometer plus of coastline across our shores, we are still not a maritime nation. We are still trying to become one. And it's a long way to go. So I realized Netherlands would be great, and through Invest India, we got an opportunity to participate in a global challenge which was put by a program in a Dutch called Port Excel, and they selected as one of the top 10 maritime startups in the world.
Fantastic.
So then they funded my travel there. Not only that, I very proudly say former Prime Minister Mr. Peter John Balkender is a good friend of mine today. And they supported us so strongly. They got us launched in Netherlands. They helped us to set up our institution there. So we have a Dutch company too. And then we were given grant. Now with this grant, they not only supported in Netherlands, they also said go and do pilot projects here in India. So it was, where two governments come together to support a startup, I think then it's up to you to prove your mettle to them. And that's what we did.
I'm sure that instills a certain sense of pride in Invest India as well. And as you said, this is not political PR, but things have certainly changed as far as startups ecosystem in India is concerned. But moving on and talking about the investment part of it, I know that you exhausted all your savings. Then where did the money come from?
So my dad is ex-military. He was a sailor in the Navy. He runs a small ship repair company. And, I had to support him. I was trying to do my own work together. And I invested close to 4.7 crores into my own startup, and I lost all that money because gestation period is very high in defense. So you keep building, and there were no projects coming in. The best part of it is I have a very lovely, beautiful, and a strong wife.
Wow.
So she did was she started supporting me financially, and she was paid really well. So I was lucky there. So she went on to support our work parallelly, and my two co-founders who came along with me, that's Mridul and Lakshay, they also invested in parallel. And it so happened, one of the Commodores from the Navy, while we were doing this, he walked into our office, which was a 1200 square feet place, doesn't identify himself, listens to us for 3 hours, and then he says, hey, look, I can get you a project. So the actual story started from a naval officer visiting our facility, listening to our stories, and they say, look, I'll get you a project. That's where the journey started in 2017, and we started building in. So the first projects came in, we raised some debt across. By 2018, ONGC, Oil and Natural Gas Corporation of India, they came on board as a strategy equity investor.
Wow.
So this is where once ONGC came on board, it changed the whole gamut and horizon of Sagar Defence. Because it was not just 4.5 crore they invested. And I will tell you, this is one of the trials where we failed miserably. And I say proudly about it because ONGC being an institution, and a lot of people ask me, it's a big giant elephant you are getting on board, they will get you slow. He said no. So we went out for sea for trials, and an offshore supply vessel which would have a general hire charge between 15 to 20 lakh rupees a day. It was kept for 4 of us for 7 days out at sea. Now imagine ONGC supporting you indirectly this way. Now this was a support and a free hand given to us to exploit. Go do your work, we are backing you. So a lot of places ONGC themselves have come across, stood next to us and said, hey look, these are a backed startup. This changed the whole approach, how people used to look at it. Not only that, when ONGC came on, we went on moving. We got Maharashtra Aerospace Defence Fund. They came, they spoke to us. And I did not realize, by then there were few people who have been following us since 2015, the technology we were working in. So when they were at the right places, they again came back to us, approached, you guys want to raise investments? We said, yes. They said, great, we are here, glad to connect. And so the whole government, we understand the government mechanism, we see how it works, what the support system is there. And we are one of those horses, even if you show where the lake is, we'll run across and drink the water out of it. So that's the only reason why we have succeeded, especially in the defense sector.
All right, so Captain Parashar, we also spoke to a few of your investors. Let's see, why do they trust you? Let's listen in.
SAGAR Degence Engineering is a company working towards Atmanirbharta in true sense. They are working on deep technology in defense space, be it aerial or underwater unmanned space. Moreover, the entire team, Nikunj, Manoj, Mridul, is so passionate towards research and develop a very innovative products which are useful for our armed forces and put our armed forces to top in terms of technology and usability. They have a very rare combination, I would say a very lethal combination in the team and delivering the products which are ahead of time. That is also one of the reasons why we are invested in this company. We wish them a best of luck for their future.
All right, Captain Parashar, this journey sounds incredible and the support of the entire defense ecosystem as well. But tell me, what were the biggest roadblocks and how did you deal with them?
So the initial biggest roadblock which I felt was qualifying any tender and contract. So generally it is always L1 based and previous qualification which kicks in the defense sector. Now being a startup, before the policies kicked in that EMD, security deposits, you don't need to push that across in. These were the biggest roads. So it was very difficult for us to participate in any of the RFPs or the tender based contracts coming in. As the policy started coming in, it really eased the way out. Because once somebody allows you to run the race, then it's up to you to win it. So I think it was just the opportunity to run the race, and the time is right now. We are running the race and we are winning it.
Running the race and winning it, of course, not alone. You're acknowledging the contribution of your team members as well.
Absolutely.
We spoke to them. Let's listen in.
What I like about SAGAR Degence Engineering is the environment, the platform that SAGAR Defence has given to me. So my first encounter with Captain Nikunj Parashar was like that. It's not about normal questions about how are you, what are you doing, and where are you from. But it was always like, and it is always like, where are you heading towards your life, and is you are getting better version of yourself day by day, every day. And that's what SAGAR Defence is today.
A lot of ups and downs during our journey, But since the day we met, we have never looked back, no matter the odds. We started working on various technologies. At that time we were working, there was no early adopters as such, but where defense forces come in as early adopters, and we incorporated and inducted our first technology as unmanned marine surface vehicle into the Indian Armed Forces, which has been in operation for more than 1800 days now. I still remember the day when we were working on our first unmanned aviation platform. It was 4:30 a.m. in the morning and 4-degree chilly winters in Meerut. We flew our first platform. It went to a 1.5 kilometer distance at a height of 100 meter. It was all going well, and suddenly, with a flick of a second, it was down. It came down and then it landed in the bushes. So this was enlightening for us that how things could fail in the real world environment. From there, we learned how to work on high power lines. And as I speak today, we had a vision back then that we would someday fly a human on our built platform. And now we have built a platform which carries a human and transport the human to a destination.
All right, Captain Parashar, right now the valuation of your company is more than 700 crore. What are the growth projections? How do you plan to achieve those targets?
So it's very simple. The drone policy has opened up in the government. If you see, the frameworks have been setting up. And we try to be one of the leaders as usual. In maritime, we are leading the space. In aviation also, we want to lead the space. And this is where we started developing an urban air mobility vehicle. Now, when you look at the Indian terrain, the Indian environment, the simple drones are not going to work out. You need very high capable, high logistic, heavy payload carrying capacity. And this is where we are trying to position ourselves in. So down the line, you're going to see Sagar Defence as two vertical companies. One is in urban air mobility, and other is maritime transportation. This would help us to get in next 3 to 4 years more than a 2,000 crore valuation. Also in terms, we're looking at in revenue phases also.
All right, Captain Parashar, before we sign off, what is your message to other budding entrepreneurs who are very unsatisfied with their jobs, who wish to quit their jobs and start a venture like you did?
Most important, and I keep telling about it, success is not in attainment. Success is in trying, work hard, dream, dream, and dream big. I personally believe the most important goal, and whenever you're trying to start your startup, is the journey. You have to believe in the journey. Success is in trying and not in attainment. And that has been the journey we have been followed. So in COVID period, we were only working at a 1,200 square feet office. Today, we work out of a 25,000 square feet facility. Imagine in COVID, everybody was inside the house and we were running out of the house, setting up our facility. So you have to dream big. You have to work hard towards realizing your dreams. And if you don't dream, you're never going to succeed. So quit your job, work hard towards it, then only you're going to reach your end goal.
But do have a plan as well before quitting the job. I think that is important.
Very important. And trust me, plan always fails.
So then, what do we do?
Work hard. Try on, pivot, keep dreaming. And I think I dream every day. The most important aspect we all, as in budding entrepreneurs, is when we ask anybody across, you'll say, I love going to my place. So if you enjoy what you're doing, you're going to be best at it. So if you're a barber, be the best barber. So if plan will not always work out, have a plan B. Be sure your plan is going to fail. Just work hard towards it to succeed.
So have plan A, plan B, plan C, and plan Z as well.
True.
And also perseverance is the key. On that note, thank you so much for joining us, Captain Parashar, and I wish you all the success for all your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, Kriti. It was a pleasure being with you.
Well, viewers, that's all we had for you in this edition of The Journey of Startups. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to Sansad TV. Goodbye from my side.